What is going on, you guys? My name is Jersey-O or Jay, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing wonderful. If you missed Undead Labs' latest live stream, don't worry, I'm gonna have it linked in the description below. They had their senior world design artist Doug Juno on, and he went in depth on Drucker County, showing all the changes that were made to that map. Also, here's a glimpse of the new BloodMobile. As you folks know, Undead Labs has partnered with Red Cross to bring awareness to the urgent need for blood donations. But before we get into everything, for all my Pyro launcher users, look alive because it seems as though the developers are looking into ways on nerfing this weapon. I'm gonna actually play what they had to say about this and come back right after.
Yeah, just leave the Independence Pack alone if you don't want those things. Though we have been noticing an issue where one of the weapons in the Independence Pack is like the second most used weapon in the game, and the only one it's second to is the gun that you start with at the very beginning. The Pyro launcher is incredibly powerful, and part of the reason is that people have been really focusing on it as the solution to plague hearts. You know, you can basically just open up with that thing in a plague heart and just blast it, annihilate it with like a single clip, and that's a little much, and it might kind of be breaking the game a little bit. So we might be putting a little bit of thought into ways to maybe balance that out a little bit, maybe not have the Pyro launcher be the answer to the game the way that it currently is. So, you know, keep your eyes open for that.
Now, me and him actually had a discussion on the Pyro launcher, but I think I'm gonna save that for another video. For now, let's sit back, relax, and talk update 19. So it has been confirmed that we're getting a return on the World War II weapons, most of which will be obtainable via loot, and new ones that can only be acquired by completing bounties. I actually hit up the developer a few days ago to confirm if the new weapons on the broker would be World War II related, and he responded by saying, the original weapons from the pack, which had no bounties, are going into loot, but there will still totally be a World War II pack at the broker. So that's going to be the theme this time around. And remember, if you don't like the new weapons they're adding to Cache Beaumont, you will still have the chance to obtain the original ones that are coming back inside a loot throughout your world. Moving on, just like I mentioned earlier, we will be seeing an updated Drucker County included with update 19. To make a long story short, the devs felt this map was a little dry and bland and there just wasn't enough in terms of detail, so they decided to make some tweaks, nothing game changing, but they felt this map needed more. And as you can see here, instead of having that dirt hill that leads to my concrete base, we now have this damaged concrete which shows how little maintenance this town has received due to the outbreak. Again, I'm all for this, especially when it comes to Drucker County, but I feel like our biggest concern is getting from point A to point B. I did notice a lot more prop vehicles, barrels, road guards, so I'm hoping this doesn't affect us too much, but they did go on to mention that navigating on this map will be a lot better, plus we are getting a newly upgraded vehicle system, so some cars will have better handling, and also you won't get stuck so easily like before, so fingers crossed and let's hope for the best. We're also getting a new vehicle, vehicle skin. Undead Labs has decided to partner with Red Cross. Now, I don't think there will be a bounty tied to this because in the video description, it says drive the all-new BloodMobile for a limited time, available as a special radio call in our next update, and as you can even see here in the video, the developer had the option to call it in for 200 influence. Of course, the price may vary depending on which zone you're in, but for the most part, you shouldn't have to complete a bounty to obtain this. Moving on, they're also making some changes to the amount of loot we get from specific buildings. I'm gonna actually play what they had to say about this and come back right after.
So the other tease I wanted to do for next week, so not only are we going to be talking about shotguns and how much more effective they are now, but also Brian would be a good person to talk through loot distribution. So just to give you a quick little tease here, I basically cheated so we could see all these buildings like I've personally secured them all one by one. And there is something that is special about the numbers that you're seeing on the screen here. So we'll be talking to Brian about it. But basically, our goal is we realize that when you're looting, one of the more frustrating experiences you can have is, you know, every looting trip ending with you halfway through a house and running out of space in your backpack. And so we've put some thought into small, minor ways that we could try to improve on that situation.
So he went on to mention that it's very frustrating for every looting trip ending with you halfway through a house and running out of space in your backpack, and once this update drops, some buildings will have very little loot inside and other ones will have a lot more, but this change they're making should definitely help things go a lot smoother. Let me know below, what do you think about this? Personally, I wouldn't mind them adding a bigger backpack or even a duffel bag that has more space. I think that'd be very refreshing to see. And speaking of changes, it sounds like shotguns will be receiving a buff as well. I actually reached out to one of the devs about this, and he said the biggest problem is how often our pellets miss, having zero effect on nearby zombies. So it definitely sounds like an incoming buff to shotguns to me, and they're going to speak more on this in their upcoming stream, and I'll have their channel linked in the description. And with that being said and showcased, that's today's video. We still have a lot more to see. Undead Labs is definitely not done with this update, and of course, if we get any more information, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Comment section is open. Let's have a big discussion. Let me know your thoughts on everything below. Be sure to drop a like, also subscribe, turn on post notifications so you never miss a video. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll be seeing you guys real soon with some more State of Decay 2 content. Peace.
But as you can see, instead of that, like that dirt sort of just hill, we've actually got this broken concrete ramp going all the way up to Mike's concrete with the fence here alongside of it. What else should we focus on here, Doug? What else?
And then you can see there's that water there, which doesn't add any gameplay or anything. It just felt like a good spot for some water since there was that dip in the terrain. And